What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Control the Narrative, a podcast where we control the narrative around misunderstood players, teams, situations, and just whatever else the narrative needs to be controlled about. So we got a special episode tonight. We got my guy Mikey Domagala. He is the founder of NBA Buzz, which has over 2.6 million combined followers across social, and he also hosts Inside Buzz. So without further ado, Mikey, what's going on, bro?
Steve, thanks for having me on, my guy.
Of course,
we were having a conversation about Melo, in the DMs and before this.
Yeah.
And, the narrative, I'm sure it's all skewed from him. So
Yeah.
I'm sure you want to cover that.
Yeah, cool. So appreciate you taking some time out, man. I guess we'll just start off for those who don't really know you. Kind of tell us the story about your NBA fanhood. How did you start liking basketball? Who's your favorite team player? And just kind of shit like that.
So I initially got into basketball around 2009. I always liked Kobe Bryant. I remember my first basketball memory. I'm 20 years old, so, I was about 10 when I was starting to become a fan.
Yeah.
I remember watching Kobe and against the Celtics, then, the Magic series, all those rivalries that he had in the late 2000s.
Yeah.
So I'm a Knicks fan. I'm struggling right now.
Respect, me too.
I'm sure you are too. But, I live in New York, Knicks fan, Melo fan. And from that, I started NBA Buzz in 2012 when I just turned 13 years old.
That's
and
crazy.
Now I'm up to 2.6 million across Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
So why don't you tell us about kind of why you started it and how you kind of grew it to this fucking scale? Because 2.6, bro, that's fucking insane.
Thanks a lot, man. I appreciate it. So at the time, Facebook was at its peak. People like to discredit Facebook, but it's still going. It's still going strong.
Yeah.
So I was trying to join other pages on Facebook, and they saw that I was so young that they didn't want me to join and make content for them and stuff like that. So I'm like, to hell with them. I'm going to do it myself. So I started NBA Buzz January 18th, 2012.
Remember the date and everything.
Just grew it ever since. Just staying consistent with posts, videos going viral, bringing in NBA guests for quotes and stuff like that. And that's kind of staying consistent is how I've grown it.
That's dope, man. Mad respect, because you said the whole age discrimination thing, you kind of saw that shit and you were just like, you know what, fuck that. I still want to do shit. So you kind of took it into your own hands and props, bro. I kind of did something kind of similar with Skyscraper Sports. It was a blog, and we kind of started our own thing, and we had up to 16 writers at one point. So I see a lot of similarities with that. Obviously I wasn't anywhere as successful as you were, but yeah, bro, that's a sick story.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. All right, so we just heard a little bit about NBA Buzz. Why don't you tell us about Inside Buzz for those who don't know what it is? And I'm hearing on the streets how you got a special guest coming soon. So if you want to tease that a little bit, you can. If not, if you want to keep it secret, it's on you.
All right, man. So I started Inside Buzz in the summer of this year. So June 2019. My first guest was Ryan Hollins. I've had 6 episodes so far. I've had Duke legend Sean Dockery on it, 2-time Lakers champ Josh Powell, and I've had some other cool guests as well. It's kind of like an interview-based show where I bring on these NBA players, NBA personnel, and interview them, post it to YouTube and all the NBA Buzz platforms, and, just get my name out there as Mikey Domagala, not necessarily just NBA Buzz.
Gotcha.
And, man, I'm in the works of an interview with former New York Knick Chris Copeland. He had a few good seasons with the Knicks and the Bucks, and I'm excited for that one. So you guys can tune in. That'll be posted on my YouTube, which is just Mikey Domagala. That'll be next week.
Yeah, we'll post all the links and shit in the description for you. So everyone, if you're watching this, check the description. If you're on YouTube, Spotify, whatever. So we're a very Melo-centric podcast. The people who listen to this podcast, diehard Melo fans. I was surprised when I kind of went on and I saw people as diehard as me. It kind of took me back a little. So I want to know what your thoughts of Melo just being back in the league is like? Are you happy about it? Do you think he didn't deserve another chance? And kind of what is the buzz on NBA Buzz about Carmelo Anthony?
So yeah, me personally, I'm a Knicks fan. I was for a while through all of Melo's years with the Knicks. I was sad when he was out of the league, and when I saw Portland picked him up, I knew that was best for him.
Yeah.
Their team, they didn't start the season too hot, and they needed just like a pure scorer like Melo. And as you see, what is he? Maybe 8 games in, about
10.
He's doing his job. He got Player of the Week last week.
Yes, sir.
He's fitting in well. He's leading them to wins. They have almost as many wins as when he's around as they didn't.
Yep.
And yeah, I'm very happy for him. In all honesty, when I had Josh Powell on Inside Buzz, he's in the Big Three League. We were discussing Melo to the Big Three because, this summer, nothing was really looking up for him. There were no rumors. There was no nothing. He wasn't in the news at all other than, his Black Ops videos, Hoodie Melo. And Powell said, he would fit perfectly in the Big Three. And I'm like, listen, obviously he would kill it. As you know, he would destroy the Big Three right now. He's still young. He's still got that killer mentality. But I think if he joined the Big Three, it would be like he was stooping down to a lesser level that he's still at. So, yeah, I'm happy to see him in the league. I mean, he has like 4 20-plus games already or something like that. So
I think so, yeah.
He's doing well, and he's shooting the ball well. He's taking up his role nicely. And, they're a perfect fit for him.
All right, so 2 questions. 1, do you think he was blackballed? And 2, what are your thoughts on the Melo Knicks era?
Okay, the blackball question, I think he definitely was. People and fans looked at Melo like, he'd have bad percentages every night. He wasn't efficient. But the thing is, you know how Melo is. He wants to be that scorer night in and night out, and he had to accept that he'd take a different role.
Right.
So I think teams and Melo weren't communicating enough that he wants to take that role. With Mike D'Antoni, he didn't get along with him too well. And, the Rocket situation just wasn't that good for the month or so that it was on. So, yeah, I think he was blackballed, and fans on social media, people on Twitter and Instagram creating false narratives about him.
Remember that?
So, I think the media played a heavy part of that, as the media does in politics and stuff like that. People just wrote Melo off.
Exactly.
And here Melo is, getting his revenge. And I think it lit a fire under his ass, if you want to call it that. And that's why he's playing so well.
Yep.
And what was the other question about the Knicks?
What do you think about the Melo Knicks era?
I loved it. I wish they could have had one more piece to go deeper into the playoffs than they did. It was a lot of fun. I'll never forget, the Easter Sunday game against Chicago. That was awesome. His what do you have, 62 points against Charlotte?
Yep.
Those times were awesome. I wish there was some more winning. And in all honesty, I thought the Knicks were maybe going to bring him back at the end of this free agency. I actually thought they were. They signed a bunch of power. Well, actually, once I realized they signed all those power forwards, like 5 in a row, I'm like, he's not going to fit in, so they're not going to bring him back. But
yeah,
I hope that they did, but didn't work out that way.
Yeah,
and
no,
I'm happy that he's in Portland.
Yeah, there were rumors about that if KD and Kyrie were going to come, that the Knicks wanted to bring him back. And I bought Knicks season tickets for the first time this year. It's like a half season package or whatever, but like I was just thinking to myself, there's no way I can miss KD, Kyrie, and Carmelo at the Garden. And then I ended up seeing Elfrid Payton, Julius Randle, and Bobby Portis. So the prices of my tickets have just fucking
that's a big difference, man. My guy.
So you were like a Melo supporter. You weren't one of those people who were like, oh, get this guy off the team. He never passes and shit like that.
No, I love Melo. And, even just watching him the past few weeks in Portland, you see how the game is now. It's like a run and gun type style. We got James Harden chucking up like 33s in one game. It's a run and gun, chuck every shot game. I like how Melo, gets it in the post, works the defense. He's got his style, and it really slows it down. It's different than what the NBA is today.
Right.
That's what I like about his game today, and always.
So you said you've been watching the Blazers a little bit over the past couple of weeks. What do you think they need to do to really become a contender in the West? Like, they're kind of staying afloat right now, but what do you think they need to do, being a team that was just in the conference finals last year, to kind of get back to that level?
Yeah, I think bringing Melo in is a help. Even if they make a trade before the deadline, Melo could always slide to the bench and be just a bench scorer.
Yep.
I think the Blazers are a piece away from being a true contender, and that piece would be Kevin Love. He's been in rumors to go to Portland. Damian Lillard's, hinted at bringing in K-Love in post-game interviews and stuff like that. I don't know who they'd probably have to they'd have to give up a decent amount to get K-Love because he's still relatively young and he's very productive.
Right.
I think a big three of Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum, and Kevin Love with Melo.
I was gonna say, don't forget about Melo.
He's like the 3.5, not just the big three.
Yeah.
So I think that would be great for Portland, and I just want to see Melo in the playoffs this year, and I'm sure you do too.
Yeah.
Just watching that guy operate in the playoffs, maybe he'll turn it up even more.
Yep. Yeah, man, I think Love is interesting, and that's a name that's kind of been brought up, like you said, in the past. For me, I don't know how much he adds to the team defensively, and I feel like that's really where they're struggling right now because, like, they have scorers. Like, CJ can score, Dame can score, Melo can put up points and shit like that, but, like, right now with Nurkic out, they really don't have, like, a defensive presence, a consistent one at that. Hassan Whiteside, he's been all right and kind of shaky here and there. Very unmotivated.
He's a little lazy, though.
Huh?
That's the thing.
What'd you say?
He's a bit lazy, though, Whiteside.
Exactly.
That's the thing.
Exactly. So, like, I feel like they need somebody, like, a type of player like Mitchell Robinson, for example. Obviously very young, but just, like, a dude who's just focused on defense, grabbing rebounds and shit like that. I feel like that would really help a team like that. And, maybe it's just Nurkic coming back. Maybe, they don't really need to make a drastic move like that. Maybe it's just wait till that dude gets back, stay afloat, and then once he gets back, kind of take off. I don't really know, but, yeah, Love is interesting, and I feel like a defensive big because, like, you have guys like Anthony Tolliver and Scala Bissiere who, Scala just does not cut it defensively, and Tolliver does what he can, but, when you're, I don't even know how tall he is, maybe 6'10", there's only so much you can do, so I feel like a defensive big for them would be fucking huge right now.
Yeah, no, I totally forgot about Nurkic. I remember when he went down, and it's almost like, so much has happened since he went down last postseason. Then I'm like, oh my God, I totally forgot about him.
Right.
So, yeah, he is that defensive presence, and then they'd have Whiteside off the bench or vice versa. So he would help them tremendously as well. Yeah, I agree.
So we're both from New York, both from Long Island. We both found out that we live kind of scary close to each other, and we're both Knicks fans. So where do you think the Knicks go from here? Do you think they trade for a guy like DeMar DeRozan? Like, there's some rumors that the Knicks will try to add a guy like that. Or do you think just keep tanking, get a high draft pick, and hope that the savior comes like that?
It's a tough question. It really is because, they're in a crappy situation with all of that.
Yep.
Should they look to just win games that don't matter for the rest of the season and trade assets for DeMar DeRozan? Because, if they get DeRozan, Popovich and the Spurs, they're going to want assets no matter what. And, the Knicks can't afford to give that up. I think they just got to keep tanking. LaMelo Ball might be the answer. You never know. I think they should hold on to all of their value and keep developing a Mitchell Robinson, a Kevin Knox. They got a lot of young guys who need development, and it's going to take time. So I would keep going to the draft.
So, real quick,
think bringing in DeRozan just to waste the rest of his career in New York, it won't be worth it.
So what do you say to people who say, because I kind of feel that this is somewhat true, I don't know to what extent, but to people who say having these guys like Knox, Ntilikina, Mitchell Robinson, RJ go through all this losing is actually detrimental to them, that it doesn't really help them. Like, sure, bringing in DeRozan, they might not win the final, they're probably not going to win the finals or anything, but at least it gets them somewhat respectable and kind of shows them how to win games. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's very fair too. I could agree with that, but at the same time, the Knicks have a lot of talent on their roster. They shouldn't be doing as bad as they're doing right now.
Right.
I saw a stat where if they hit 6 more free throws in like every game of the season, they'd have about 5 more wins. And free throws, if you're losing games on free throws, RJ Barrett's not the best free throw shooter right now. He's still a young rookie, but still.
Did you see the game on Saturday?
With Julius Randle at the line?
Yeah, I was lucky enough to be there for that.
That's another game that they could have won on a free throw. Could have went to overtime. They could have won. So, yeah, I agree with the development part of bringing in DeRozan and having him as a leader, which would help their development, but
Right.
it's tough. You know, they're not doing anything. I thought they were going to be better this year. They got talent. Julius Randle, I thought he was going to have a breakout season.
Me too.
Him and Dennis Smith, and they're not, and it's tough to watch.
So let's move out west. We just talked about the Knicks. Let's talk some Lakers and Clippers. I'm curious to know who you think is better, why, and who has a better shot of winning a championship.
Are you talking between the Clippers and the Lakers?
Lakers, Clippers, both Staples Center teams.
Whew. The Lakers, I think they're 21-3 right now.
Yeah, they're fucking going off.
That's pretty unbelievable. The Clippers also, you know, they could be better, but we haven't seen everything from them because Kawhi Leonard's load management.
Right.
Paul George started the season injured. So I think I just made a post on NBA Buzz that they're, I think, 17-7 or 16-7. So if you add Kawhi not sitting out games and Paul
Right.
George not being him being healthy, they might even be like 19-5 or something, even more impressive
At
than
least,
what they are.
yeah.
So, you know, both teams are pretty even right now if you break all that down. But I got the Lakers ahead. I mean, you see what LeBron's doing. He's turning 35 later this month. He's an MVP caliber player still. Anthony Davis has been incredible. And the Lakers have pieces around them which help them win. I mean, the Clippers, too. I mean, they got like 7 solid guys who are just killers themselves. So it's incredible what's going on out there. But I would go with the Lakers.
So let's fast forward to the playoffs then. 7-game series.
Okay.
Who are you taking? If both teams are healthy.
I'm going with the Lakers.
Lakers.
And
Okay.
I'm going with the Lakers because sometimes too much talent at the Clippers, like we saw with the Celtics last year, might not always be good.
Right.
Who's going to take the back seat in the playoffs, or are they all going to play together as one? So you never know. I think the Lakers with LeBron and AD at the helm, and I mean Rondo distributing the ball, it's tough to beat.
Man, to be honest with you, when like we were entering the season, I saw the Lakers and like obviously they have so much fucking talent, but like I just didn't know how the pieces fit. I was just like Rondo, LeBron, like Dwight Howard, like I didn't really get it, and I was like, how quickly are LeBron and AD gonna be able to gel like that? Bro, I watched them like the first full game that I've watched them this season versus the Blazers. Man, they look fucking good, dude.
Yeah,
like
they look pretty good, man.
They are so good on so many levels, and I'm just like, shit. I don't know who can beat them. And in the beginning, I thought the Clippers were gonna be the best team.
Mm-hmm.
I still like in a playoff series, I will take the Clippers just because of their defense, and I know the Lakers are, you know, doing really good defensively, and I think they're the best defensive team in the league. But I don't know, man. There's just something about Kawhi and Paul George and just like the depth, and the Lakers have depth too, but I feel like their depth is specialists. It's like 3-point shooters or like defenders or something. And I feel like the guys on the Clippers, like Montrezl Harrell, he could defend and he's a 6 scorer. Like Lou Will, great scorer. Who else have they got on that team that I'm blanking out on right now? Like Paul George, obviously. Pat Beverly, like he's a great defender, but like he knows how to run an offense. So I don't know. There's just something about the Clippers that I just feel like when it comes to playoff time and like you mentioned the load management shit, I just feel like they're gonna turn it up.
I mean, it's definitely true, and I want to turn a question on you actually.
Let's go.
Using my interview, style. Were you mad that the Lakers didn't sign Melo?
Oh, 1,000%. 1,000%.
Because I was. I thought he fit there more than Jared Dudley did. You know?
My thing with the Lakers is like we've spoken about this on the podcast, and you know people get mad. Oh, LeBron didn't owe Melo a job, but it's not even about owing Melo a job. It's the fact that you see your brother getting done wrong by the league, and you obviously have so much fucking influence in the organization. The least you could do is like get him a fucking tryout, like Joey said. I think Joey said like 2 weeks ago. At least get him a tryout or some shit. So. And I think it hurts even more right now because you see what the Lakers are fucking doing, and you think to yourself like, man, could you imagine that team with Carmelo Anthony?
And you see what Melo's doing too in Portland.
True, but like the Blazers and the Lakers at this point in the season are just on totally fucking different levels. So yeah, man, I don't want to say I've been a LeBron hater, but I've always kind of disliked the guy just because of a lot of different reasons, but. If you gave me the option, Lakers or Blazers, I would probably say Lakers, knowing what I know now and just knowing how fucking good they are and how legit of a shot they have at a championship. So, yeah, I was definitely upset with that one. All right, so Mike, we play a little game here called Start, Bench, Cut. We give you 3 players, and you start one of them, you bring one off the bench, and then you just straight up cut one of them. So this week, we have three characters, let's put it that way. We have J.R. Smith, Lance Stevenson, and Nick Young. And let's just say they're all at their peak. You got to start one of them, bench one of them, and cut one of them.
All at their peak?
Yeah.
That's kind of tough because they're all relatively similar.
Right.
You know? All right, I would start Lance Stevenson because during his Indiana days, and I'm sure you remember this,
yes,
when they played the Knicks in those series and everything like that, he would have plenty of triple doubles. He would affect the game on all different levels: rebounding, scoring, assisting. So I would start him. We also saw J.R. Smith with the Knicks. It was kind of towards the end of his prime, but he was still really good with the Knicks.
6th man of the year.
Yeah, he had a great year with the Knicks, a few great years. So, okay, I would start Lance. I would bench JR, 6th man of the year, come off the bench, win that for us. And I'd have to cut Nick Young.
Swaggy P is out.
Listen, in his prime, he was a really good scorer, but then you get his personality. Maybe he didn't want to practice all the time. He had some off-court antics. So did the other two. I mean, how could we, how could I say that and not refer to the other two?
I was going to say, all 3 of them kind of had some off-the-court antics.
Yeah, they're on the same boat. You got me in a tough situation.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I would go start Lance, bench JR, and cut Swaggy P.
Fair enough. I think me just being a Knicks homer and a JR homer, I'm going to start JR because I feel like if he could do that shit off the bench, he could do that shit on the court. I would start Lance. I would bench Lance because, like you said, I just feel like he brings so much energy. And like you said, they're all similar players. So that's why I just found it real curious to know what you thought. So start JR, bench Lance, get that guy coming in off the bench with his fucking guitar, and then Nick Young. He never really did it for me. He's a good shooter and scorer and shit like that, but I don't know. I can understand why he's out of the league if that makes sense. Yeah, but I can't understand why JR or Lance Stevenson aren't.
I agree.
All right, so we reached the end of the podcast, and at the end of every podcast, we like to ask our guests if there's anything that they want to control the narrative about, that there is something out there that people think, whether it's they think that this player is amazing or that this team sucks or that peanut butter and jelly is, the best food on earth, whatever it is. Mikey Domagala, what do you want to control the narrative about?
I want to control the narrative for 2 things. One's NBA related. 2 is just business and being in the media.
Okay.
I'll start with the business media thing. I think people shouldn't underestimate young kids coming up. I started NBA Buzz when I was 12, and like you said, the age discrimination things, especially in social media, us kids know more than adults with social media. So that's the narrative I want to control with that. It's kind of broad, but the NBA narrative. Oh man. I've been covering James Harden all year on NBA Buzz, and I see it in the comments, and I just agree. I mean, he's never going to win a championship if he continues to play like this. You don't score 50 points on 25% shooting. He lost that game for a reason, and I mean, you could call it the dunk that didn't count, and they want to get that reviewed, but no, they were losing that game anyway. I don't like the James Harden. I mean, I understand he scores a lot from the free throw line. You could say that's impressive by conning the defenders, whatever. I just don't like his style. I see people comparing him to MJ as one of the greatest scorers ever. I just don't see it. I respect him as kind of as a scorer, but I think if he limits his shots, becomes more of a facilitator, assisting, he'd be able to score 25 points a night, 15 assists a night, and just rebound the ball. And he'd be able to get those 25 on 45 to 50% shooting if he just, played more meticulously. So that's the narrative I want to control with James Harden. If he wants to win a championship, he needs to clean up his act.
So it's mainly the inefficiency of his kind of score.
Yep.
All right, respect. I've been saying that for a while, just not the whole championship thing, but it's not that I don't respect it. It's just that, I feel like in some way he's cheating the game. I don't know what it is. I don't, he's obviously playing within the rules, but it's annoying to watch. I saw he was in San Antonio, and somebody yelled at him from like the sideline and said nobody wants to watch a free throw contest, and he kind of said something back to him like nobody wants to watch fouls, goddamn it. He said something like that, but like it's true. Like who the fuck wants to go watch a dude flop and shoot 25 free throws a game? You can make 100% of the free throws, cool, and I think he did. He went like 24 for 24 or something. But like nobody wants to watch that, man. Like play the fucking game.
It's boring, right? It's very boring to watch. He's just looking to draw fouls. Have you noticed he barely even attacks the rim anymore like he did in his OKC and early Houston days? He just doesn't. And he'd dominate the game a lot more if he just started doing that more. But he's more interested in just getting to the line, getting his cheap points. I like James Harden, and I like what he was before. But this season and last season, I can't stand watching him.
You know what it is? It's all the analytics shit.
Yep.
The Rockets are like notorious for one of the most analytical organizations. We see how that's worked out for them. They've never won anything in the past couple years. Sure, they should have went to the finals versus the Warriors, whatever. But like, there has to be some sort of a balance. I say this all the time. The game for some teams has gone so far, like only looking at analytics that, you know, these GMs don't know fucking talent when they watch, and they don't know like shit pick and roll or like, you know, this dude in isolation. Wow, he's good with that stuff. Like they don't process that. All they see is, well, you know, that shot is, you know, has a 20% shot of going in, and this one has a 40. And it's just like, bro, just like fucking.
They're so much more talented than analytics.
Man, it's so annoying.
And just to hop in with what you said, that they could have made the finals that year. Why did they not make the finals? Didn't they chuck like 70-something threes? And they missed like 30 in a row or something like that?
Some crazy shit,
It was something crazy. So that, you know, that just went full circle of why they couldn't win that year.
All right, Mikey. Well, appreciate you taking the time out. Like I said, I know you probably have a busy schedule, and, you know, you were covering the Clippers game right before this and everything. So, you know, appreciate you taking the time out. Why don't you tell everyone where they can find you, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, you know, where you at?
On Facebook, it's just straight NBA Buzz. And on Instagram and Twitter, it's at official NBA Buzz.
Okay.
You could check out my personal Instagram at Mikey Domagala, and my YouTube page is Mikey Domagala, where you could find the Inside Buzz videos and other NBA related videos that I post there. So yeah, I appreciate you letting me come on. It was a lot of fun.
Of course, man.
Let's go Melo.
Let's go Melo, baby. All right, so everyone go check out Mikey. Mikey, again, thanks for hopping on, and we'll definitely be seeing each other around, maybe Hempstead Turnpike or something like that.
Yeah, man, for sure. I'm only like 2 miles away from you.
All right, Mikey, thanks, bro.
You got it, brother.